Flares. Leo. Leo. And imperative finir to the deal, quarter deal. Radio. 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 That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Hold on. Hold on. She's received. She has received it. Wow. Why are you crying? She's been trying to speak in tongues. Wow. She's been trying to speak in tongues for a long time. Yes, sir. Wow. This is her first time of speaking in tongues.
Hey y'all. So I know it's probably gonna be a couple Christians pop in my comment section. You know, I dare you make fun of my religion. You know, you shouldn't make fun of someone else's religion. You know, but yeah, I will make fun of your religion because your religion is false. You see, your religion is false according to the scriptures. Your religion is man-made. You see, Most High never said anything about speaking in tongues, speaking gibberish, your pig Latin, falling out on the stage, This woman sounded like she was possessed, and the pastor's up there, pew pew, me, Louis, Monsieur, he's speaking in some French language or something. Then he said, oh yeah, she received it. She received it, and she falls out on the carpet. And the husband up here, the husband just crying and stuff, like, oh my God, he really healed my wife. Now she can speak in tongues. Just nonsense. So where was all these pastors at? They laying hands on you in the church and speaking in tongues. Where were all these pastors, during COVID? Why wasn't they out healing people? Going to the hospitals. Why aren't they healing people from cancer? Diabetes. You see? But it's just a big show, to get your money, to take your tithe money. Now, what does the scripture say about speaking in tongues? You see, is that biblical? You see? Let's look at it. All right, let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14. Let's start at verse 27. It says, if any man speak in an unknown tongue, let it be by two, or at the most by three, and that by course, and let one interpret. So if you speak in an unknown tongue, I'm speaking in English, you see, and I'm in a foreign country speaking God's words. I need to have an interpreter. Verse 28, but if there be no interpreter, let him keep silence in the church, and let him speak to himself and not to God. So I was just on this live with some Christians, and they were speaking about, this tongues, speaking in tongues, this nonsense. But someone shouted out in the live, says, start at verse 2. Let's go to verse 2. All right, this is book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14. We'll start at verse 2. It says, for he that speaketh in an unknown tongue speaketh not to men, but unto God. So if you German or you French and you speaking I speak English. I don't know French or German. You speak it in an unknown tongue. Speak it not unto men, but unto God. For no man understandeth him. Howbeit in the spirit he speaketh mysteries. So the Christian church will say that, he's speaking in tongues. You know, that's not what this is talking about, Christians. Verse 3. But he that prophesied speaketh unto men to edification and exhortation and comfort. So when you speak to men, you speak to edify them, to exhort them, to give them comfort. They said, no, that's not what we're supposed to do. But how are you spreading the word, the gospel, if you're not speaking in that language that everyone can understand? How are you a light to the world if you're not speaking God's laws to them in their language that they can understand and get edified? See the stupidity in the Christian church? Verse 4. He that speaketh in an unknown tongue edified himself. If I'm speaking English and I'm in Russia, I'm edifying myself because they don't understand my language. But he that prophesied edified the church. Look what Paul says, verse 5. I would that ye all speak with tongues, but rather that ye prophesied. For greater is he that prophesied than he that speaketh with tongues. So all that jibber jabber, pig Latin that you talking about, one of the Christians on the panel said, I don't even understand what I'm saying when I speak to God in tongues. I know so well. But you edifying yourself. You just doing it for the show. When in Matthew 6, Christ said, go in the closet if you want to pray. Stop making a show, for men's sake, So you speaking it with tongues, except he interpret, that the church may receive edifying. Now, brethren, if I come unto you speaking with tongues, what shall I profit you? You are no profit to the church, speaking in that pig Latin language, except I shall speak to you either by revelation, or by knowledge, or prophesying, or by doctrine. So let's go to Acts 2, verse 5. This is the book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 5. It says, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. See that? They were speaking in their own language, not shapata. No, that's nonsense. The white man. So just imagine it. Just imagine it. The Feast of Pentecost, and you have Jews, Israelites from every nation, Germany, Spain, France, Mexico, and they all came to one spot to worship, for the feast. And every man spoke in his own language, and everyone understood that language. That is what this is talking about. It's not talking about you speaking in some jibber jabber nonsense language.